Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, A Talk About. I'm David, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to tackle Redwall, the first book of the Redwall series by Jacques, as I said I was going to. So please remember to subscribe so that I keep making more videos like these for you. Okay, so I'm going to start by setting the scene for you. Redwall Abbey is about to have a great feast to celebrate Abbot Mortimer's Golden Jubilee. And so everyone is out gathering, they gather food, they go fishing, they cook, and then many creatures come to Redwall from the surrounding country to celebrate this great feast. Outside of the Redwall Abbey, on the there's a path, and a horse-drawn wagon comes down it, full of rats from far off. They are all murderers, and they don't really know of Redwall Abbey's existence. But this is about to change. The world of Redwall is made up of different types and kinds of creatures, and some of these good creatures live in Redwall Abbey, which is really a castle surrounded by these walls that help protect the inside, where there are orchards and gardens, and it was a place of plenty and a good life. And they have a society that practices peace and helping others. And so because of this, no matter where they go in the world, they are known for it. If you just say that you're from Redwall, and other people are supposed to help you out. The main character of this story is the mouse, Matthias, who is not the usual sort and usual type of a story. He's not the usual reluctant kind who doesn't want to do his purpose, fulfill his purpose, or listen to what he said he's supposed to do, or he's the only one that can save the world and he doesn't want to do it. He's the kind that actually is the opposite in a way. Not completely, but in a lot of the way he's the opposite, where he just he's headstrong and really just wants to help out and do the biggest and the most, his best, and just be in any kind of fight and just help out and be really the warrior they need to be. But the problem is he's not always doing the right thing in the right time, in the right scenario, because he doesn't always listen to others in that way. So he's not completely, so in that way he has to learn, and he kind of grows throughout the story. The main evil creature of the story is known throughout the world as Clooney the Scourge. And he has this patch over his eye with a tail that's like a whip with this barbed end to it that can just really, he uses a lot to maim people. And he's really this fearsome figure who people even tell in stories and know about, and a lot of them don't even know they believe he even exists because of just who he is. And he's always been told to. He comes from this far off land, and he's even a threat and a scary figure for even his own. He's this really huge, large rat, and even his own commanders, especially them, are always in fear of their lives, really, because if they don't do the right thing or in the right scenario, or he's in a bad mood, they have potential of being killed. He's this murderous rat, really. So even the good and the bad creatures are both of them are really in threat by him. And because of this, he is the ultimate evil creature of the story in a lot of the sense. My favorite evil creature is actually Redtooth and not Clooney the Scourge. And I think this has to do with him being the second command and the underdog. And I always felt like he could really hold his own and maybe possibly be the leader. And this goes back to me to when I was younger and I first heard of the story. And when I even came back more recently, now that I'm older, and read this, I still found myself going to the fact that I kind of liked Redtooth. And I really felt like if he was given the right scenarios, that he could maybe possibly have been the leader and maybe even done greater than Clooney the Scourge in a sense. At least that's my opinion of this character. My favorite good creature probably doesn't come much as a surprise, especially if you've watched my Redwall series review about the hares and how I love the hares. Because my favorite character of the first book, Redwall, is Basil Stag Hare. And he really does fulfill this typical hare character of being joking and just being a fun character to be around, and always hungry and always starving and always wants food. He can eat anyone, basically living, at least in the area. And he really does help out Redwall. And it comes this another hero that really need in the war effort, in the fight. And I just really like him being there and being involved, and he's really great at just running around the forest and hiding and sneaking around and just really a great companion and friend to Matthias that he meets, and I really do like him as a hare in this story. Now, I do have to mention before I go any further that there is really a breaking of a main rule in this book of Redwall, even before it's actually even made, that it really is set for the rest of the Redwall series. And that is that there are no humans. And again, in this book, just like the rest of the books, there are no humans. But they really are hinted at with the horse-drawn wagon and the barn you hear of later on in the book. And so, because of this, I kind of feel like it is kind of a breaking of this rule, even though it wasn't made again. It wasn't made yet. But the author, I think he does a great enough job that it's fine when you read the book. And especially now when I come back to the book after read the whole series first off and not having read it in a long time, I still feel like it somehow works. And it's still a great book, even though of this breaking of the rule, really. The main story, really, of Redwall is Clooney the Scourge coming to it and wanting to conquer it with his great big horde of creatures that are mainly rats and some weasels, stouts, and ferrets, and some foxes he gathers when he gets to it. And its biggest is about 600. Now that kind of, it changes in size, it grows and diminishes, but one moment at its greatest, it was about 600, I found. And he's always trying to succeed, and the creatures now, the good creatures, are always trying to counter it and trying to save themselves and live on. And sometimes they even go and they try to take back victory on their own, or they're really just trying to protect their walls and use their own tactics inside. And they have the hero, Matthias, who really tries to rise up and learns along the way and tries to basically become what he needs to be. He finds riddles. He kind of this mystery part where he has to solve this riddle, and he has to so he can get the right weapon, so that in the end, ultimately, he can face Clooney the Scourge as the only creature really that can take him on. Maybe some other creatures could, in my personal opinion, but I guess with his weapons and that kind of added strength, it really does help him in the end. And this is really the story that unfolds, is the conflict of Clooney the Scourge and trying to take it and plunder it and and murder everyone there. Mossalar Forest is a place where it's made of a bunch of different communities that live there. Some small, family size at their own homes. Some really large communities are a few hundred in size. And really, usually Redwall is the peaceful place to really live in, that really is protected. But during the time of Clooney the Scourge and his attacking in that moment, I don't know if Redwall Abbey is as safe a place anymore, because you don't know what side's going to win, really. And so, now I wouldn't argue that Mossalar Forest or around surrounding Redwall is a safe place. It's definitely not, because the evil creatures that live there really do whatever they want, murder and do whatever they want with the creatures. But I would argue if you went a day or two's journey away from Redwall into Mossalar Forest, that it may actually be safer for somebody who just wants to wait out the war and just live out there and see what happens with both sides. And now there are some evil creatures that live out there, but I would still say that it would be safer than to live in Redwall Abbey at that time. Besides the book Redwall, there also was an audiobook version of it with the author Brian Jacques and a whole other people bringing it to life. And there also was a TV show that you could also check out, just a different way of taking it in, though the best way really is reading the book. I also find that even if you just like the world Redwall at the end, there are 22 other books to go and read that all have different scenarios, different stories in it. And what I really like about this first book is it really is what starts it all. And just the adventure going back and forth between the fighting and the riddles Matthias has to try to figure out to become the ultimate warrior with this sword and the weapons he has to do to take out this evil villain, Clooney the Scourge. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review of Redwall, the first book of the Redwall series. I'll be reviewing others of the series in the future, so please stay tuned. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.